All right, here is part 2 for how to lunge correctly for strong legs to last throughout your life. And this is flexibility for hip flexors. So we're down on one knee in our half kneeling position. We got the other leg bent to about 90 degrees and out in front of us. We want to have the hands on the hips initially so that we can tuck under. We use that left glute so that I'm on my left knee. So I'm using that left glute really good to pull those hips all the way under so that I get a bit of a stretch in the front of the hip here. And then I want to keep that tuck under and I want to slide those hips forward best that I can while I'm keeping that tuck, okay? And then I'm going to take my left arm and reach it all the way straight up towards the ceiling, and I'm going to have those fingers pulled out to the outsides and my palm, like I'm trying to press my palm flat on the ceiling as I'm reaching all the way up there. We want to take a nice big inhale and fill that rib cage all the way up and fill the belly all the way up, and then exhale and see if we can relax a little farther into the stretch. We want to think about reaching that knee down into the floor and elongating from my left knee all the way up my left side, through the left shoulder, and all the way up towards the ceiling, okay, as I'm holding all of that. And I like to focus more on breath than time, so I'll go like 5, 6, 7, 8 breaths. It's just kind of more but a feel. So as you get into it, you might feel that you start relaxing deeper into the stretch as you hold into it. Okay? And then we'd switch over to the other side, so putting the right knee down on the ground, putting that left leg out in front, and then tucking everything under nice and tight, using that glute, pulling up with your low abs as well so that we get a good stretch to that front of the hip, holding that underneath, and then sliding those hips all the way forward, and then taking that right arm and reaching up, putting that palm flat like you're trying to put that palm flat on the ceiling, elongating that whole right side, and then big breaths all the way in, all the way out, all the way in, all the way out, and feeling. So you can shift your weight a little bit more to the right, you can shift your weight a little bit more to the left, and you can feel where there might be a little bit more restriction. So focus on the areas where it's a little bit tighter, and breathe and relax into those. Exhalation is a natural relaxer for the body, okay? So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 breaths, whatever feels good for you. Just kind of listen to the body, but use all your muscles. You're going to actually be developing your glute muscles by doing stretching like this, okay? And then we'll move on to the rectus femoris. So now we're going to stretch the rectus femoris, or more of the upper quad muscles. So great to have a wall to use that's behind you, but you could also use, a lot of people call this the couch stretch and stuff like that. You could also use a couch or a bench or a ball or various other things. So here is how we're going to do it. So I'm kneeling on the floor. I'm going to put my left foot up on the wall, back behind me, and my left knee down on the floor, fairly close to the wall. The closer the knee is to the wall, the bigger the stretch you're going to get. So you need to find the right distance where it's challenging for you now, but still doable. So I've got my knee, about 8 inches from the wall, roughly around there. And I've got that foot up on the wall, and then I'm going to bring my right leg out in front so that my right foot is now flat on the floor so that I can push with my right leg. And I'm going to try to tuck those hips all the way under, once again, just like I did in the hip flexor stretch. So I'm pulling up with my low abs, I'm firing this left glute, and then I'm trying to push myself back with my right leg to get my glutes back close to my heel. Now, I have pretty thick hamstrings and a pretty thick calf, and so my basic thing that's causing me to stop going back any farther is the fact that my hamstring is squishing into my calf, and it's only going to go so far. Like, I'm pretty much at it. So then I really want to focus on tucking those hips all the way under, and then you can add to it by taking your arms, both of your arms, up over your head and reaching towards the ceiling and trying to put those palms flat on the ceiling again, and then big breaths. Big inhale, big exhale. Big inhale, making your body as long as you can. Big exhale. Really focusing on the tucking of those pelvis all the way underneath you. And big focus on trying to elongate everything as you possibly can. Think about reaching your knee down to the floor so that you get a good big stretch up through the whole front of that quad. And this way you'll have the flexibility to get all the way down into the bottom of a lunge. And then over to the other side. So now I'll go onto my right knee with my right foot up onto the wall. I'll bring that left leg out in front of me so that the left foot is flat on the floor. My left knee is about 90 degrees. And I would push that left foot to start working my glutes back towards my heel. I'm going to tuck those hips all the way under, pulling up with the low abs, using the glutes. This is how we build strength in our muscles, by just stretching the other muscles. Okay, and then I'm going to bring those arms up all the way over the head. And I'm going to breathe and relax into the stretch. And you'll feel different areas that's tight. So I'm a little tighter, more medial, medial, not lateral. More medial on my right side than I am on my left side. And so I shift my weight a little bit to my left when I'm on my right knee, and it gets me a little bit deeper into that area that's tight and opens all of that up. Big inhales, big exhales. And this really opens up these muscles so that it is easier to get into the bottom of the lunge, especially as you progress through this whole play series. We'll get all the way to rear foot elevated lunges, or what are also called Bulgarian squats or Bulgarian split squats. You need all this flexibility to get down into the bottom of a Bulgarian squat. All right, so big inhales, big exhales, open all that up. I find people that sit a lot, these get really tight. These are really important to stretch out. I'm going to do 2 more big breaths here. Big inhale, stretching everything out tall. There we go. So make sure to subscribe and check out the playlist so that you get all of these down and improve your lunge so that you can lunge and be really strong and have strong legs throughout your life. And we will now move on to part 3 and do the glutes. Have a happy and healthy day.